I'm Richard Redmond, and you're watching The Play is the Thing. My Inheritance is a story about a man, John Higsby, who couldn't wait to inherit the estate of Count Wilhelm Metzger. Resorting to murder was his only solution. This cemetery is the last stop, the stepping off place on your journey through life. There are many inhabitants here, many stories to be told. My name is John Higsby. My story is about myself and Count Wilhelm Metzger. Now, I don't know if he was a real count or if he just claimed to be one. I do know that he was rich, extremely rich, loaded, as the saying goes. Also, he had no heirs, no one to leave his wealth to. I met him one day, right here in this cemetery. He was visiting the grave of his deceased wife, and I was here visiting the grave of my parents.
It is beautiful weather we are having, darling. I know you would have enjoyed it. This was always your favorite time of the year. I still have all the memories of you and I. All the times we enjoyed together.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Beautiful weather.
Yes,
A relative?
my parents. I like to come here and visit once in a while.
Oh, me too. This is my wife's grave. She died rather suddenly, quite unexpected,
Oh, I'm sorry.
many years ago. But I come here often to visit, talk, keep her up to date on the news.
It's funny we've never met before. I mean, since the graves are so close together. My name is John Higsby.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Count Wilhelm Metzger.
Count?
Yes, I'm from Germany. I moved here many years ago. My nobility doesn't count for much over here, but I always like to use the title. It impresses people sometimes. Gives me a good table at a restaurant. No waiting in line, if you know what I mean.
I could tell by talking with him, he was lonely. And except for a butler, which he retained, he had no social life or friends.
My wife was more of the social one. Parties, theater. After her death, I lost all interest in friends. Too many memories, so I keep to myself. Well, I have a butler, so he is good for conversation, company.
Sounds rather boring.
Well, I have many memories to keep me going. Why, I could tell you stories about the places I've been, things I've done. I've had a very filling life.
Well, you know, they say it's not healthy to be alone. You need friends and a social life, too, for better health.
Well, my health is not the greatest. A weak heart, you know. But I march along.
Where have you traveled?
Why, I've been all over the globe, all four corners. I've been to every major continent, at least 100 countries, more towns and cities than I can remember.
Sounds exciting.
Well, it was. You know, I remember one time in Borneo, or was it Sumatra? Well,
We became quite friendly. I met him a few times after that, at the cemetery. I invited him out to lunch and dinner a few times. And then one day, quite unexpectedly, he invited me over to his house. And now, Count, a special treat. Toast.
toast. German wine.
I bought it especially for you.
Thank you.
I know you love German wine.
Danke. John, I don't have any friends, except, of course, for my butler, Henry. He's the closest thing to any family that I have. But he is still just a butler and no relation. Yeah, I've been giving it some thought. I like you. You seem like a caring person.
Well, thank you.
Since I have no heirs, I want to make you my sole beneficiary. I want you to have all of my money and possessions at the time of my passing. How does that sound?
Well, I don't know what to say. You totally surprised me. I never expected anything for our friendship.
That's just it. I felt you were interested in me. You've shown me great kindness ever since we've known each other.
What about Henry?
Oh, he's just a servant. If I weren't paying him, he wouldn't be here. Of course, I don't plan not to give him anything. I'll make a provision for him for his years of service. But the bulk of my estate, I want to go to you.
I couldn't believe it. He wanted to make me the sole heir. The sole heir. He was worth a fortune. I started fantasizing how I would spend the money. Travel, sports cars, beautiful women. The more I thought about it, the more anxious I became. I started visiting him more often. I didn't want to take the chance that he'd have a change of heart.
I enjoy the time we spend together. I feel like a new man. I guess you were right. A man needs friends. He must socialize.
Well, whenever you're alone, you get depressed. You don't enjoy life. You should exercise also. Might be good for you.
Oh, I don't know about that. I have to watch out for my heart, you know.
Well, I'm sure a little exercise wouldn't hurt you.
Checkmate.
You win again.
Did I ever tell you about the time I was in the army?
I think you mentioned it.
I must have been stationed in Germany. Of course, because... Back in Germany. Of course, because then, naturally...
My toes would curl every time he told me another story. They were getting repetitive. He would tell me the same story over and over and over. To keep from screaming, all I could do was think of the money, how I would spend it. That kept me going. I let him win at card games, chess, whatever. I didn't want to rock the boat, as they say. I even came up with the idea he should try jogging or play some sports, anything to hasten along the inevitable. But he was healthier than he thought. As a matter of fact, he started feeling better, more alive. I couldn't stand it anymore, but I had to hang on. I had too much time invested, too many plans for the money. That was all I could think about, was the money. Finally, one day I came up with an idea. I thought about the butler and how he might help me in my plan.
Is there anything else I can get for you today, sir?
No, that's fine.
The Count should be down soon. He just came back from a jog and he's taking a shower.
He goes jogging now, all the time.
Yes, sir. So you got him started with it, and he has you to thank for his better health.
I know. Don't remind me.
Sir?
Henry, let me ask you a question. Between you and me, and it's to go no further.
What's that, sir?
What do you think of the Count? Confidentially.
Oh, he seems like a fair man, easy to work for, considerate.
Do you ever wonder who would get all the money he has? This estate, his possessions? Should something suddenly happen to him?
If something were to happen?
Yeah, you know, anything, like a heart attack, anything.
You would get everything, sir.
Oh, you know.
Oh, yes, the Count told me. He also said that he would leave a sum for me. A pension, if you will, for all my years of service.
Did he say how much?
No, but I'm sure it'll be sufficient.
What if, after, should he suddenly die? Would you be interested in working for me?
Oh, I don't know, sir. It all depends on how much he left me. Hopefully it would be enough for me to retire so I could travel, see the world.
Let me ask you, what if, hypothetically, he should suffer a sudden heart attack, which would be his demise?
Well, that could be many years from now. He seems to be perfectly healthy.
What if we could shorten the time?
We? I don't understand.
You know, even if the Count left you a nice pension, I'm sure it wouldn't be enough to travel and see the world. Traveling can be quite expensive.
Well, I suppose so.
I could guarantee you enough money to travel when I inherit the estate. I was desperate. I couldn't wait any longer. I needed that money. I felt I could trust Henry. If he had said anything to the Count, the worst that could happen is he would throw me out, never see me again. So I came up with a plan. Have you ever heard of methyl iodide? It's a powerful poison. It can mimic a heart attack. Henry and I agreed that on one of my visits, he would put some of the poison into the Count's wine. It would look like a heart attack, totally untraceable. Then, after I received my inheritance, I would give Henry enough money so he could travel. Finally, the night arrived. I had procured the poison and gave it to Henry. Here it is. Put it in the Count's wine. You don't need a large dose.
You can count on me, sir.
Oh, Count.
Henry! Oh, could you get the wine?
Yes, sir.
John, how about a game of gin rummy?
Only if you let me win.
Oh, I can promise I won't be too hard on you.
Well, we'll see. How much you want to play for tonight, Count? A couple of million, few dollars, pennies, matchsticks.
Whatever you can afford to lose.
Well, it's not looking good for you, Count.
John, I was thinking, I don't visit the cemetery as much as I used to since we've been friends. I should go again.
That's a good idea. I think you should go soon. Very soon.
Did I ever tell you the story of when I was in Austria traveling?
Here we are, gentlemen. I took the liberty of pouring a glass for myself, if you don't mind.
Good man. I was just about to bore John with another one of my stories.
I propose a toast to the Count. May our many years of friendship go on forever and ever.
I just want you to know, John, that I have appreciated the friendship you have shown me. Your kindness has helped me through what might have been many long evenings. What's the matter?
I don't know, I feel dizzy.
Henry, help me.
Oh.
John. It's dead. What? Dead. John.
There I was, lying on the floor, dead. Not exactly what I had planned. It seems Henry the buffoon had switched the glasses and gave me the one with the poison. Gypped me out of my inheritance. I'll never know if it was an accident or done on purpose.
Henry, I'd want you to know, now that John is gone, I have decided to make you sole heir to my estate when I pass on.
Why, thank you, sir. I never expected it. Let's hope that's not too soon, sir.
Hey, Count! Count!
John!
What happened? Did your heart finally do you in?
No, that damned Henry poisoned me.
He's a devil. Welcome to eternal life.
I guess so. Now I can see my wife.
She's waiting for you.
Well, John, we have eternity. Now I can tell you more about my life on earth.
This is a scene from The Miser, a satire written by Molière. It was one of the most beloved plays of the 17th century. It is also one of the most frequently adapted plays still performed today. The characters in this scene are Harpagon, who is the miser, the owner of the state, and a cheapo. He loves money more than anything, so much in fact that people dislike him and talk about him because of his stinginess. The other character is Master Jacques, the cook and coachman to Harpagon. But he's also one of the more complicated and interesting characters in The Miser. For starters, he seems to be the only person in the play who has any sympathy at all for the old miser Harpagon. As we find out in this scene from Act 3, Master Jacques tells him what people are saying about him on the streets.
Just what are people saying about me?
Since you wish it, sir, I will tell you frankly that you are the laughing stock of everybody, that they taunt us everywhere by 1,000 jokes on your account, and that nothing delights people more than to make sport of you, and to tell stories without end about your stinginess. One says that you have special almanacs printed where you double the ember days and vigils so that you may profit by the fast to which you bind all your house. Another, that you always have a ready-made quarrel for your servants at Christmas time or when they leave you, so that you may give them nothing. One tells the story of how not long since you prosecuted a neighbor's cat because it had eaten up the remainder of a leg of mutton. Another says that one night you were caught stealing your horse's oats and that your coachman, that is the man who was before me, gave you in the dark a good sound drubbing of which you said nothing. In short, what is the use of going on? We can go nowhere, but we are sure to hear you pulled to pieces. You are the butt and the jest and byword of everybody. And never does anyone mention you but under the names of miser, stingy, mean fellow, and a usurer. The Forced Marriage, written in 1664, is a one-act comedy by the French playwright Molière, and it's a hilarious play that stands the test of time with its irreverent take on the institution of marriage. Our 53-year-old protagonist, Sganarelli, is ready to marry a saucy young thing until various revelations make him rethink the sense of this plan. Sganarelli is a middle-aged bachelor, and Geronimo is a friend of his. Now, Sganarelli asks his friend if he should get married.
If we take 52 from 64, we get 12. 5 years you spent in Holland, 17. 7 years spent in England, 24. 8 years in Rome, 32. And if to 32 we add your age when we first became acquainted, we have exactly 52. So that, Mr. Sconnerell, according to your own confession, you are between 52 and 53 years of age. The calculation is exact enough. Now, I will tell you frankly, as a friend, according to the promise you made me give you, that marriage would suit you but little. Marriage is a thing about which young people ought to think long and seriously before they risk themselves, but of which people of your age ought not to think at all. And if, as some say, the greatest folly a man can commit is to marry, I know nothing more preposterous than to commit such a folly at a time of life when we should be most prudent. In short, to speak to you plainly, I advise you not to marry, and I should think you very ridiculous if, after having remained free up to your time of life, you were now to burden yourself with the heaviest of chains.
But I'm in love with her.
What's that? You're in love with her? Oh, that's quite another thing. You didn't tell me that. By all means, marry, then. I haven't another word to say.
My blue moon turns to gold again, when the rainbow turns the clouds away. My blue moon turns to gold again. You'll be back in my arms to stay. Memories that linger in my heart. Memories that make my heart go. But someday they'll live again, sweetheart. And my balloon again will turn to gold. And my balloon turns to gold again, when the rainbow turns the clouds away. My blue moon turns to gold again. You'll be back in my arms to stay. The lips that used to thrill me so, all your kisses were meant for only me. And my dreams, they live again, sweetheart. But my blue moon is just a memory. And my blue moon turns to gold again. Oh, when the rainbow turns the clouds away. And my blue moon turns to gold again. You'll be back in my arms to stay. The castle we used to build together were the sweetest stories ever told. Maybe we will live them all again. And my blue moon again will turn to gold. When my blue moon turns to gold again, when the rainbow turns the clouds away. And my blue moon turns to gold again. You'll be back